Who the hell are you?
Argyle. You are?
Eden.
Like the garden.
And if I only could, I'll make a deal with God.
Welcome back to the Arbor Podcast, and I am tired of hearing that song. I'm the Kino Cowboy. We're taking a break from the summer series to talk about, ironically, the most entertaining thing I've seen this summer, despite seeing many movies. This surprisingly spoke to me. Stranger Things Season 4. Casher here is a Stranger Things veteran. He's been on it since the beginning. I, however, was a contrarian about it for years until my girlfriend and I made a pact that if she watched the Marvel films with me, then I would watch all of Stranger Things with her. And we both enjoyed each other's deal. And I'm glad I stopped being a contrarian, because seasons 3 and 4 of the show is some of the most entertaining TV I've ever seen. And season 4, I believe, is the best of the bunch and has impressed me thoroughly. And yeah.
Yeah, no, this show's a fucking banger. I've been saying it for fucking years. I remember when the first season came out. I think I actually texted you about it and was like, hey, this is something that's right up your fucking alley. And I'm glad you finally watched it.
Yeah.
One of the best like homages to like older coming of age and adventure, and also the cosmic horror and fucking like sci-fi elements of it are just fucking insane.
Well, before I watched it, I thought it would just be a bland like Netflix ripoff of the Goonies and E.T. mixed together, but thankfully I quickly found that it had its own identity pretty quick. And especially Winona Ryder really pulled season 1, did like the heavy lifting for the show, and
her and David Harbour were definitely like
sure.
the highlights.
Yeah, she did.
Fucking Sean Astin in the first season. He always forgets.
Second season.
Is it the second season?
Yeah.
No, I think it's the first season. No, he dies in the hospital.
Yeah, that's the second season.
Oh, I'm tripping then. I thought that.
Yeah, it's been a while for me.
Yeah, it has been a fucking minute. But yeah. No, it's good shit. And this season 4 has been wrapped up, and everybody's been so hyped. I'm glad they split it up to 2 months, basically.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Give the hype more.
It's like all of these episodes in season 4 are movie length, which was a big deal, and younger audiences were at first not pleased because of attention spans being dwindled a bit these days. But thankfully people were still able to get into it. But that makes me think about how people have turned around on Netflix's dump every episode at once thing, which really started when they started making Netflix originals, which was like the frontier of the new streaming era around 2012, 2013. Like they put out they resurrected Arrested Development, and they put out Orange is the New Black, and that was really.
We got Lilyhammer with Silvio Dante.
Those were like setting the stage for like, oh shit, you don't have to get greenlit by cable anymore. These streaming platforms have enough money to make their own shit. Like, oh fuck. And so that was like a whole new frontier. And at first it was really cool and different to get every episode dumped all at once. It was like, holy shit, I can just binge all of it. And that's when binging became a part of the lexicon and shit.
Yeah, the binge model became a thing.
But it works for some shows, but other shows you need to digest the episodes in between.
I was kind of hoping that Stranger Things would have been a weekly release.
That's the thing, is that
I think it worked.
A lot of people have turned around on that, and they're like, hey, let's release these episodes, like at least once a week or something, since they're movie length and stuff. And Netflix and the Duffer Brothers are like, nope, we're not doing that. We don't want to. And I was like, okay, whatever. And the only reason they split it into 2 volumes is because they were behind on the final 2 episodes with getting everything complete with the VFX and everything else. They were just a little behind, so they decided to split it up into 2
that's
volumes.
fair. There was so much fucking shit just packed into
the last 2 episodes alone were 4 hours long, so it's like 2 movies almost. So yeah, I get it. But the funny thing, the day before it was the day before volume 2 was airing, the Duffer Brothers like uploaded like 12 VFX scenes to the Netflix servers like the day before.
No shit.
It was like that close. Yeah.
God damn, cutting it real fucking close,
But yeah,
dude.
I it sucks that Netflix is not wanting to do that with Stranger Things, because other places like Disney Plus and other things have gone with the weekly
Well, even
model
like
already.
Amazon, who used to do the same thing, like they have weekly releases now too for most of their shows. Like The Boys, every week it gets like they just finished their season, and
Yeah.
it's like every week. Oh no, there's just like a hypeness you get
No, yeah.
and like excited about the week because you get to watch this new
And
show.
you stay talking about the show much longer. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
fizzle out as fast. It's just overall better. It was fun at first to have everything at once because it was so different and new from cable. But now we've seen everything, how it works, and we've gone back
Well, it's
to
like it's different. I'm cool with having like Trailer Park Boys drop a whole season in a night. I'll fucking that's a bingeable TV show. That's something
yeah.
that you want to, or like fucking I don't know, like some stupid comedy or like an anime or something. Get it all in the night. That's awesome. You want to binge through it. That's cool. But like serious shows like that, I don't know. I think I like the model where you wait each week and you get yourself hyped up and you're like online looking up like fucking theories
Yeah, that's the
and all this other
thing.
shit.
I like to look up theories, but I couldn't look up what people were saying until I finished it because I didn't want to get spoiled. And that's the whole problem, is that not only is like spoiler culture a big thing, like Twitter does not give a fuck. Twitter,
I stay off
they
Twitter.
will post shit like 10 seconds after they've seen it. They don't give a fuck. It's horrible. It's like the
I
Wild
had I
West.
had people on my Facebook basically being like, "Fuck anybody who gets mad about spoilers," and I'm like, "It's been out for a fucking day. Like,
Yeah.
not everybody has 4 hours. You're on it. You're sitting home, not doing anything. I fucking had to sneak out with my parents around because I spent like the fucking Fourth of July weekend with my parents. I had to figure out a time to go watch it because I
Yeah.
was like, I can't. I'm
It's
not gonna
4
avoid
hours.
spoilers. So it's
Or
like
volume one, which is like 8 hours.
I
Like,
don't know. It pisses me off that mindset. I like had to have like a conversation with one of my homegirls who posted something similar to that. I was like, "Hey, if you post a fucking spoiler, I'm gonna fucking fight you. Like we're not gonna be in a good place, dude. I've been waiting for this for years. Fucking give me my time." So it's
yeah.
like seeing immediate spoilers. Like I almost got spoiled for the Eddie Munson death, which I knew the Eddie Munson death was coming just because I just had a
It was
stinky
kind of
feeling.
building up that way.
Yeah. He's like the
But
redeemable hero like type thing. It's a trope. Um so it was like leading up to that, but like I didn't want to see fucking memes of Max being lifted into the air or like
yeah.
because that's the shit that I was like, no fucking way. No fucking way the Duffer Brothers just do this to one of the kids.
Yeah.
Because like that was the riskiest thing they've done the entire show is fucking actually kill her off. Even though she's in a coma now, we don't know. Her mind's like blank. Like we
Yeah.
don't know
She's
what
brain
happened.
dead and blind.
Like what the fuck? I mean, of course she's probably going to be saved next season. If she's either going to be the Herald of Vecna, or she's going to be saved. I really think it's going to be Will who's going to be Vecna. It's been setting that up for first since the first season.
Yeah, I'm worried he's gonna get like transformed into something or the other. Or but also well, we were talking about how spoilers have, yeah, it's become such an issue, but now companies are like thriving off of it. Like they've been saying, like when Spider-Man No Way Home came out, Sony was pushing a thing that was like, don't get spoiled, you got to go see it this weekend so no one spoils it. Avoid the spoilers by seeing it now, see it
The
in
main ones I
theaters.
saw were like, "Hey, don't be a dick," basically, and it had like Peter Parker going like this, or like
Well,
also
yeah,
there's that fucking
they've been doing that.
thing. Well, they got the picture of like Doctor Strange with all the middle fingers, like don't give out spoilers, and I don't know. It's a good way to get people to go to the movies immediately. I went and saw Thor on Thursday to avoid spoilers. Like
Yeah, but like, damn, I
I don't
just
know. It's all marketing. See, it's all psyops.
I mean, I give it a few weeks. before you start.
Yeah, I
Post some
say
shit
give
on
it like 1 to
Twitter and
2
shit.
weeks.
Well, I'm saying like there are dedicated forums like on Reddit and shit or stuff like that. Maybe like make a group chat with people that have seen it. I don't know.
Well, like dedicated forums. Of course, I'm not gonna go to the Stranger Things forum the day the fucking Stranger Things Part 2
No, I'm
comes out.
saying that's where if you've already seen it and you're itching to talk about it
Yeah,
and post it, go there.
Twitter's a fucking hellscape. I
But
fucking
it's
hate
funny
Twitter.
as fuck that when people do go to the spoiler threads and then they're like pissed off or something, I'm like, dude, what are you?
Yeah,
You're going to the Stranger Things subreddit and you're mad.
fucking
That goes for literally anything.
yeah. No, that's like a given. But like Twitter's a hellscape, and
Like,
no one has any empathy on Twitter. It's basically where you become your worst self, and
yeah,
people are
like
exposed.
fucking Last Jedi and Force Awakens came out. I was like off of social media like 2 days before it came out because it came out early in Europe, in Britain or whatever, I think, or something like that. It's just a pain in the ass. It's annoying.
No, no, absolutely.
But what are you gonna do?
What do you? What are you gonna do? You haven't seen that show. That's a Big Mouth reference.
That's Anyway, um, so this season, well, first of all, I want to say to me, season 3 is where I was like, okay, I love this show a lot. The first 2 seasons were good and interesting and fun and mysterious, but like season 3 is when it felt like a long lost blockbuster from a different age. I was like, wow, they're really keyed into this feeling and bringing cosmic and body horror to the masses, to like the biggest thing in the world, is really admirable to me, because there's actually some really gruesome deaths and shit that happens in that, and like um people melting into goo and gore. It's cool as fuck, forming into like the pseudo mind slayer or flayer or whatever it is. And like Billy stuck in the scorching hot fucking
Sauna.
sauna. That is
Yeah,
fucking
shit's scary.
horrible.
Apparently, he like really headbutted that fucking window.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, he got way too into it. That it's like one of the biggest things that I took away from it. Back when I watched the first season when it first came out, that show was so fucking different from everything else that had come out at this point. Like I hadn't seen anything like it that they dropped similarly to this on Netflix or any other streaming platform. It was probably the best show at the time that came out on streaming platforms. So watching the first
Yeah.
season and getting hyped for the second season because it took forever for that second season, and then it took even longer for the third season. It's like finally we get to the big shit once we hit season 3 with like the Ruskies and fucking like establishing more of the side characters, like Steve getting his big moments, which he gets his big moments in season 1 and 2, but like he really shines in fucking season 3.
Yeah.
After like becoming established as the mom character, because like initially you fucking hate Steve. Like Steve is absolutely the fucking worst, and then you have to like. I was thinking about this the other day. What the fuck would you do if you found a dude who had a camera and weird pictures of your girlfriend on his camera and you
I
confronted
thought
him?
about that when I was
I
watching
was
it.
like, man, he's a dick for breaking the camera. But when I watched it the first time, but now I'm like, I would do the same fucking thing, dude. Like, I'd be fucking furious. I'd be like, what is
Yeah,
this little
but
pervert doing?
also there's different way to handle it. I don't know. He just,
Not when you're fucking 17.
I don't know. I just thought he was just another fucking meathead, fucking cool
I thought
guy.
that's what he was going to turn out to, and now he's like my favorite character.
Which I love transformations like that,
We've got a few of those,
Yeah.
except for some characters who just need to be
Well,
gone.
even some you can be they turn empathetic, like when you see Billy's memories of him being abused.
Yeah, but Billy was a racist.
I know, but like still at the very
We don't
least,
empathize with racists.
no, listen. He was beaten and treated like shit, like, and it was cool that she could tap into his memory or dream or whatever it was.
Yeah, but Max was also treated that way, and she wasn't racist.
Yeah, it's interesting because you think that maybe Max deep down loves her stepbrother and stuff, and she thinks that deep down too. And then we find out later in season 4 she admits to herself as well as the audience really that she has thought about him dying horrifically so she didn't have to deal with him. That's fucking brutal realization.
Yeah, it is.
Her
Man,
character,
that
yeah.
scene though, that scene's really fucking good because it took me a second because I was like, Lucas started being like, you're a fucking monster, basically. But it turns out to be Vecna. I was like,
No,
oh
as soon as he said
shit.
it, he was a she's a monster. I was like, Lucas wouldn't say that, and I knew what was going. I knew immediately. It took Parker a minute, and then she's like, "Oh fuck!" I was like, "Yeah." Um,
Can we talk about how a fucking one episode or one season of a TV series revitalized the music career after 40 years of that song being out?
yeah, fucking
That's
a.
fucking ridiculous.
And
Like it's so fucking insane to me.
when you first of all, season 3 has a very bright uh color palette and art direction, and it's very vibrant and summery and cheerful. And then season 4 is more drab, and everyone's costumes or outfits are all drab and more boring and weirder, and everyone's got shaggy, crappy hairstyles, and I don't know. And so obviously Max is fucked up and she's not herself. So when she was here listening to that song, I was like, oh, that's a nice needle drop. As someone who's I was obsessed with Hounds of Love in summer of 2015. That album means a lot to me. I was like, what a good needle drop. Cool. And then I was like, oh wow, this is gonna introduce a lot of kids to Kay Bush. But then it became a pivotal part of the season. I was like, oh fuck.
The use of music in this season is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like the way that they're able to juxtaposition everything using fucking running with the hills or whatever the fuck it's called, and having that be like the savior of Max at
Yeah,
one
that
point.
scene in episode 4 when she's running and trying to save herself was when I was like, okay, this is uh one of the best seasons of TV I've seen. Like it that is just to me extraordinary and thrilling, and Vecna's layer is really cool. It's like out of like a hair metal band like album cover.
Yeah.
It's just like we have brought this show to the next level with its style and its filmmaking. And you can see obviously where it borrows from a lot of places, but everyone borrows from
I was
places.
gonna say the borrowing is more of like an homage, but it makes its
Yeah,
own thing. It makes
well,
it
it
just
is
it makes it
far and
charming.
beyond its own thing now.
Yeah.
And that scene in particular was like cemented it with me. I was like, okay, this is one of my favorite seasons of TV ever, up there with shit that I've seen with Breaking Bad, Mr. Robot, shit like that. I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm here after all these years of being a dick about the show. And what I like is how different it can still be after 4 seasons, because well, 3 is more of like has more of a blockbuster adventure feel to it, along with fighting the mind flayer and all that, but in the mall and summer shit. But this one takes all of my favorites uh kinds of horror, like, and blends them. Like we have like a classic haunted house possession movie. We've got the uh mystery movie with framing someone as a murderer. And yeah, like it, like they did like the classic haunted house shit, and
We
still
got even more like hyper monster shit with the prison and them
yeah,
having to fight the demogorgons and escape Russian prison, which is the
yeah,
shit.
like every single plot is interesting and fun and adventurous and wickedly entertaining. Like all of it. Like we've got, like you said, like Russia. Some people weren't keen on Russia. I liked it a lot. And I
I
like
thought it was
seeing
dope.
Hopper trying to escape and all that. I think it was good for him. It's brutal,
Which
but
for me, back in like whenever the third season came out and they killed off Hopper, It wasn't until like weeks later that they said like they really confirmed that he wasn't dead,
No,
and it
it's
was
in the
just like
post credits scene
I don't
that
remember there being a post
they
credits.
mention like the prisoner or something. So they
Oh
don't.
yeah, they never show him though.
Yeah, no,
And
but
so like there was like a trailer where they finally have like Hopper's back. Basically, they show
yeah,
him in
and
prison.
I even as a non-fan at that point, I had seen that trailer and I knew that he was not dead going in. So I wish I wouldn't have known that, but what are you gonna do? But also the rule applies. If you don't physically see someone die in a horror or something like this, then they didn't die. That's just how it works. So, um, but I like. Let's see all the plots we've got 11 and her crew in California, which is fun and
Which
different.
ended up being split into like two different crews
Yeah,
until towards the end.
right. And then we have um
Which getting Eleven's backstory about like the killing of all the other kids there was pretty fucking
yeah.
awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Then we have what's his name? Or what's her name? Nancy.
Nancy's crew with like
She's
Steve and
at first
Rose.
she's like investigating with that nerdy guy, and then her crew, and then well, I just like I like how it all ties together. They do that in every season. They tie all the plots together really well.
Mhm.
But this one, especially with the crazy old man in the haunted house and stuff, and how that
Victor Creel.
incorporating that. I thought at first it was just going to be a backstory for some sort of like phenomenon, like creature within the upside down or something. I didn't know that it would tie into Vegna and how um masterfully that 11's shit tied into Vecna too. Like the reveal at the end of episode
It
7
was
where
good.
he gets thrown into the upside down was very
Fucking money.
memorable.
It was
Yeah.
fucking dope. It was one of the cooler scenes in the whole series. To
It's
see
very
him fly
important.
through the
Yeah.
upside down and being like tore apart by everything basically and rebuilt. Very Dr. Manhattan-y.
Yeah.
He's
That
like tore up.
mixed with Palpatine a little bit.
Yeah. It was cool. I wasn't expecting that either. I figured that like the the guy was gonna be just like a figment of her imagination. I didn't realize that he was like a real thing until they punished him. I thought that it was
Yeah.
just like something in her head to like
Interesting.
block. I don't know. It was like it took me a second to realize that he was a real person in her past.
There's a lot of important stuff that this season covered, and one of them being was finally getting more of 11
Papa.
in the laboratory and shit, and we get to see her past and stuff, and I really liked seeing all the other kids training a bit and treating her like shit. I don't know, it fills in some blanks, and but also like they kind of retcon some stuff, like
Like the superheroes.
all of these kids, they're just telekinesis, like shit like that, and astral projection and stuff. But like that one girl from season 2 could like make people imagine shit with their minds. They never bring that shit back up.
I mean, that's still telekinesis, implanting thoughts. I
Yeah,
bet, I
but
bet
like
Elle could do that. She forces herself into someone else's brain, basically.
I don't
It's
know,
all
but it seems so
telekinesis.
different. And
It's clairvoyancy.
that's my least favorite part of the whole show is that episode of season 2 with those fucking
It's weird.
band of 80s punks.
It's
That
weird.
really
It's like
turned me off.
pointless.
I was like, and no, it shows that Elle was willing to do the right thing, which is important.
Yeah, but like, are we gonna get them back for the final battle?
No, that's
Like
what I don't want is like for it to turn into some in-game fucking just needs to be its own thing and not rely on like because we have all the Marvel movies we can want to go watch. We don't need Stranger Things to be Marvel at all. Doesn't need to be fucking X-Men or anything like that. That
no.
would be disappointing to me if they tried to go that route. Um,
No, it would be very fucking weird, dude. Just like, who are these fucking people I haven't seen in 3 years? Like,
the other thing I have a question is, they might reveal it, they might not, but how is Papa even still alive after the first season? He like basically he dies in the high school or in the middle school, whatever, and then in season two, the doctor tells, "Oh, you think he's dead? He's not dead." And you're like, "What?" And then in this season, he's just alive and well. Okay. So for a while, I was like, maybe he's got something up his sleeve that we don't know about. I was like, maybe he's in cahoots with something with Upside Down or something. I don't know.
we're supposed to in the fifth season learn exactly what the Upside Down is.
Yeah.
That's what the Duffer Brothers said. They were like, the next season is going to, for sure, explain to us what the Upside Down is.
Yeah. Why was he so keen on advancing her powers and shit anyway? Like, I, for what? Because obviously he wasn't working with the government because they were coming after her themselves. He was doing this shit on his own at this point. I know that they were in cooperation at the beginning, but I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe they'll go into it, maybe they won't. Um, but I guess we can talk about different characters and their
I was going to
growth.
say, it's kind of ridiculous that in 4 seasons in, you can introduce a character to a TV show that is as beloved now as Eddie fucking Munson. People
Yeah.
are fucking obsessed.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite.
It's kind of
I kind of thought he
ridiculous.
would be.
It's like, well, it's like there's not a whole lot of TV shows that I remember that are able to drop a character so late in the game that just becomes a fucking icon.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he fits right in, and it's all about the performance. It's instantly memorable, but also familiar enough. It reminds you of other just characters from like 80s media that just, I don't know, they capture that free spirited but also kind of dumb but also an outsider kind of thing. I don't know, it's cool. And
and like his story starts off immediately like dark as fuck. Even before Chrissy dies, he's like, "I'll sell you some drugs." Like he's a drug dealer. This guy shouldn't be hanging out with fucking 14-year-olds.
yeah,
Like,
especially because he's not just a senior, he's a super senior.
about like 3
Yeah,
years.
this is like his, yeah, he should have graduated 2 years ago, and he's hanging out with Mike and Will, or yeah,
He's
not Mike,
it's just
the other one, my
the
Dustin.
obsession my fucking social media has with him. It just
It's
makes me.
nuts.
It's fucking
But
cool.
also he's incorporated in a way that makes sense because their D&D playing has advanced now to this like this level of playing it like in a cult almost, which gets of course misconstrued by the entire town.
Which is
um
fun because that
yeah,
was a thing
that
back
was
in
the
the
thing
day.
I was waiting on, is the scale to get as big as it was in a, not too big but pretty big. I
I
was
mean,
hoping.
that Vecna rips the town in half at the end.
Right. I know, but like we getting the town hall meeting with classic satanic panic parents freaking out and stuff, it really made the town feel alive. And that's one of the most important things in shows, is your setting to feel, like I said, alive. Like I like shows that take the time to really show around town and like different people within the town. I know you don't really have time to flesh out everything, but like for example, Steven Universe spends the first half of the first season showing you little stories with all the characters and stuff. So it's like a intertwined community, tightly knit.
Well, like
And this,
each season introduces you to more and more of Hawkins.
yeah, I know. Like we get the I really liked in the third season we get the mayor and his corrupt bullshits, and you get people hanging out at the mall. That was a good improvement. But now in this one, it's like, okay, everyone is finally overly aware that shit is going down, and it's not stopping because it only gets worse and worse. And so I like that aspect of it. I feel bad for Chrissy.
Chrissy, wake up.
And because she obviously has bulimia because she's in the bathroom and shit. And I don't know. I just I like on I don't know. I was always a pissant in high school about like popular kids and shit, and always like thinking I was better than them, and never thinking, well, maybe they have problems too and shit. So I like
Because
when
they don't. Fuck them.
so I like when teen shows go into that, especially Steve's transformation being the biggest one. Like he calls fucking Jonathan a queer and shit. Like that's terrible. But also it's the 80s, so it makes sense, I guess.
Could have called it much worse, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know.
Plus, fuck Jonathan. Jonathan's like my least favorite character.
Jonathan, I like uh a lot in seasons 1 and 2, and then he starts getting less to do as the show goes on. And I feel kind of bad. And then this one, they're like, let's just turn him into a fucking pothead. And it
Yeah, he doesn't
works
do
because I remember, of course, myself at his age is when I started getting into it. And then that's when you have your like honeymoon phase where you're stoned 24/7. And he's in California. He's hanging out with Argyle slinging pizzas. I get it. But also
another iconic ass character from the
he
show.
looks fucking strung out the whole season 4. Even though he's just smoking weed, he looks fucked up.
If he ends up with Nancy at the end of this series, I will be angry.
Now, why?
Steve deserves Nancy.
Steve, they both do. That's the problem, is I can see both of them with Nancy.
Steve dropped that whole I want to have a nice house, a picket fence,
Yeah,
6
but
children.
Nancy is also a very strong, independent girl now. She's fucking
Oh, she'd go be the job. She'd be the breadwinner.
I'm
Steve
just saying, maybe she doesn't want like a big family. And
she
like,
seemed like she was pretty into it when he was like, I've always imagined that.
I think she's just smitten by the idea of that he's a sweet guy now and he's transformed. It was, bad enough that she liked him when he was a complete douchebag. But also she's had great growth too, because she's Nancy in season 1, I didn't really care for that much.
She's getting laid while her friend was brutally murdered outside.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's. Oh yeah, that was so long ago. Because I apologize. Not apologize. It's just like I watched all of it in like 3 weeks, and then season 4 came out, and a week after that. So, yeah, Barb. Here's the thing. People always feel bad about Barb. I'm like, well, you should be a fucking wet blanket. That's how I feel. Did you deserve to die over it? No, but like, will it kill you to fucking hang out and like do teen bullshit?
Shit,
Yeah, hang out, dude. It's not a big deal. Not worth getting pulled into the upside down over.
Is it? Is it not?
And I don't even remember what we were talking about. Shit. Oh yeah, Jonathan. They gotta reel him in a bit in the 5th season, round him out a bit, because he had a lot to do, especially in season 1. He was fucking keeping his family together, doing the best he can to protect his mom's sanity and shit. And
kill him off.
No.
Kill off Jonathan.
Jonathan is important right now because at the very least he's being a good big brother, because he's noticing stuff. And
I mean, most of the show he's fucking stoned and doesn't realize that Will is in a bad spot until the last 2 episodes.
Well, yeah, but like it's hard with all that shit going on. Especially he admits to Will that he's sorry that he's been distant lately and that he's been doing his own thing. People get depressed.
My brother makes that same apology every time he's drunk.
Man, no, but it's true. He's getting you get lost for a little while and you come back, and he's like, at least he noticed and he was able to talk to Will. I don't think he knows how to say, hey, I know you're gay, it's okay, but he's getting there.
Hey, you little cocksucker. I know you like it.
Oh, it's just like when he and Will talk at the pizza joint. I thought that was an important
It was a
part.
good part. It was a good part for because Will has had like a passive. He's had like a role, but like a passive role for a lot through a lot of this.
Will just keeps getting shit on, and it
Yeah,
sucks.
he needs to lose that fucking bowl cut.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah, they fucked Noah Schnapp over on
He's
that.
such a handsome guy, and like I feel
We
bad for him.
focus too much on Mike. Mike is like the most unlikable
That's
out
my
of all of them.
fucking biggest complaint about the whole show is like the first two seasons. I love Mike. Mike is like almost like the main character in a way because it's like him who discovers 11, all that. It's like a big deal. And then season 3, it makes sense that he's wanting to make out all the time, but like it gets kind of annoying. Like you can hang out with your friends too, asshole. Holy shit. Like, yeah, pussy's cool, pussy's sweet, pussy's good enough to
Yeah.
eat, but like, damn, dude, that really aggravated me. And like, but also Hopper in season 3 aggravated me the way he almost that two problems with this show is that Mike has become unlikable by season 4. I hope they bring him back to his more of like friendly and kind and understanding Mike. And then Hopper almost got Flanderized. I noticed watching it. Season 3, the first half of season 3, I was really worried about his character because he was firing at all cylinders the whole time, like screaming and yelling and going crazy and doing his like, it reminded me of how much Harrison Ford gets a little Flanderized in Return of the Jedi, where he's like be really goofy and like loud and shit, but in season 3, Hopper is screaming and yelling at all times, and he's like way too loud and way too intense. And I was like, this is too much. He needs to fucking reel it in a bit. And thankfully, when the Russian shit started popping off, and he really had to like pay more attention to what's going on in the town and stuff, he gets more serious and he gets way more like himself, and he gets rounded out. And then season 4, he's completely solemn and humble. And not that he had to be humbled, but just like it was good to take a departure for a season for him and for him to approach things differently. Especially, you're in the fucking lion's den. What are you gonna do?
Get sexy because now
I mean, you spend 3 seasons or especially the 3rd season, where you're in control of everything now. When it comes to Hawkins and running that shit, you get a little antsy, and now you're just trying to hope for your next fucking bowl of gruel. I thought that was an interesting departure, and I like that a lot.
Eat your gruel. Also, Hopper gets sexy, and then gets his little makeout sesh with old Joyce, which
is insane that apparently that was improvised, because that was one of the sexiest and important. They finally like kiss. That's important.
No,
like
it's
shit.
Great. I'm happy to see that we have a blended family now.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Blended.
We got Hopper and 11 now joining the Byers.
I thought you were talking about like interracial or something.
No, that's not what blended family. Okay. No. What?
I don't
know. Yeah, Hopper's black.
Just from the waist down.
Oh, we also got that Russian dude. That's another character that was introduced. That fucking
both of those dope. Russian guys were funny.
They're dope. The guy that's like the prison guard, he's a good little buddy for Hopper. I really like.
Yeah, he was. I was worried that he would double cross at the end, but thankfully he didn't.
No, we got the other guy.
Yeah, the other guy was there for that. That guy was a pain in the ass.
I like how what got him to go though was like, you were this person in the war. Why don't you be that person again? Like, that's such a Russian fucking thing.
That is a Russian thing. It makes sense though. Okay, cool. Actually, you know what? The most underrated character of the whole series is fucking Murray. That guy's funny as fuck.
Murray's the shit. I love that actor.
Yeah,
he's doing a lot of shit that I've seen. I remember the first time he popped up, I was like, "Holy shit, Brett Gelman's in this." I was like, wow, "What the fuck? That's so random." Yeah, he's the shit.
and
Breeze.
he's able to be a good anchor to Joyce when she's being like, and Hopper when they're being less rational. He's good. He's good for that. Plus, he speaks Russian, which has helped in like 3 out of the 4 seasons. And
Yeah.
I like that he cuts bullshit, and he is basically what put Jonathan and Nancy together. And because he was like, look, y'all can lie to yourselves all you want, y'all have a thing, which was refreshing because I hate when characters beat around the bush for so long when they're having feelings. And he helped kind of get that shit going, so you don't have to spend the whole season wondering if they're have feelings or not. I like that. And
Get that
then
fucking.
I like that his karate lessons paid off. There's so many good set pieces in this season of like just from all different walks of cinema. Like there's a action sequence in this where they fight on that plane while it's almost doing a nosedive.
Yeah.
And it's like straight out of any other adventure movie like Indiana Jones or something.
They made a
But
trailer park look cool as shit.
yeah, there's
Fucking
straight up
insane.
exploring a haunted house. That those are cool set pieces. Then you've got the psychological slash medical horror in the lab where you go into her past and stuff, like all
You get
these
your
different.
classic, you get the classic lake fucking riding, like boating in the lake, and some fucked up shit happens. It's always fun.
Yeah, it's so crazy how many different set pieces can fit so naturally together into one thing.
Yeah, the Duffer Brothers have finally found their fucking mojo after like the
Yeah,
third
for
season.
sure.
And I'm glad that they're ending it soon, because that ending for the whole like this whole season, they lost. Like technically, fucking everybody lost, and I'm always down for when a hero loses to have to come back up. That's
Sure,
always been
it
one of
makes
my
sense.
favorite things to
But
go
now,
through.
but now it makes sense. Like the Upside Down and Hawkins are like converging. It makes sense, and I
We get to
figured
see
it.
that fucking
It
bully
adds
get ripped in
scale.
half.
Yeah, it adds the proper scale for the final season, but not too much where it's like, um, like a superhero movie or some shit. Like I
Yeah.
said, that'd be stupid. Um,
I'm
Max,
excited to see this next season though. Like,
Max in season 2, I was like, okay, well, what's her point? Just to have another girl on the show, I guess. I get that. Have a more interesting take, but then season 3, I really started to like her more, and now season 4, she's one of the best characters of the entire show.
yeah, absolutely. She breaks out into her own, and I'm really excited to see where she goes from here. I'm sad at where she's left off right now. But
Yeah, people are
hopefully,
saying that the Duffers are lame for not just go ahead and killing her off, but I think they could have gone that route easily, but now there's something to fight for. You got to have something to fight for.
I think it was more ballsy doing what they did to her than fucking killing
Fucked
her
up,
off.
especially when she's like freaking out because she can't see. That's horrific. And like her leg,
Yeah,
her bones are broken. She's blind, and her mind is like gone. That's terrifying. That's
yeah.
people call me ableist for saying that's worse than death, but I don't know. If I'm blind and in a vegetative state, I don't know. It doesn't sound like I want to be living that. Pull my plug, dude. Call me fucking ableist. I don't give a fuck. That sounds like shit to be fucking vegetative. It is, man. I don't know.
I think she'll end up living. I think that
No, they're gonna
the
save
main
her. That's probably
point's
gonna be
going to
a
be,
big plot of
yeah,
his
figuring out
finding
how
her
to get her
mind,
shit
saving her
back.
somehow.
And she's going to be blind forever. I think
Yeah,
she'll stay
well,
blind.
that's fine. You can live like that. I couldn't. If I can't watch movies, I'll kill myself. But that's that's a different. That everyone's different. And that's why. And I guess that ties in because they were supposed to go to the movies on Friday and they can't. Like, she'll never be able to watch movies again. Like I said, boom. No big deal. You know, everyone's different though. I guess you
I
could.
liked I liked our fucking character progression for Lucas this season too.
Yeah.
I was very, very scared where he would end up at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I was
Thankful.
worried he would just keep drifting off, and because that's what happens in middle
Some
school.
characters, yeah.
It just happens. Thankfully, you, me, and Scott, we all stayed friends after high school somehow, and Justin. It's kind of rare in a way to be as good friends as you are, but thankfully it worked. But yeah, Lucas, I was like, damn, he really wants to be a jock. I know how that feels because in seventh grade, I was felt like I needed to have some identity. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and be a jock. I'm gonna be a foot. I signed up for football that year, and I bought some like some sportswear to wear on my first day, and then I just didn't feel like myself the whole time. And then I dropped out of football and I was like, fuck this. I'm just going to be myself. So seventh grade was a weird, shitty transition year for me, not to female, but into the person I'm supposed to be, a fucking dork who likes movies and video games. I don't know. I felt Lucas on that trying to fit in because, the idea of being popular is fun.
The biggest difference, though, is that Lucas was actually good at sports, Adrian.
Yeah, that is the thing.
Like,
There's
he's
nothing
good at
on
that
worse.
shit.
There's nothing worse for me that I'm at than basketball. Like I tried playing basketball in Upward for years, which is like a Christian-based kids group for people listening. That you would
Fucking
go through, in like the community / church. I was so bad at basketball, like horrible. My poor mom had to walk. She would go to every game. I never made shots anytime. I'd never made a goal. I don't even think once.
They're not called goals.
Baskets, whatever.
There you go.
My brother, he's made probably fucking 20 times more than I ever did. But
20 times zero is still zero, right?
oh yeah, well, I don't know.
Not good at math either.
Poor middle school Adrian. I wasn't meant to be. So I stuck to Smash Bros and fucking
Still not
YouTube.
good at that either.
Yeah, that's debatable. Next podcast will be just a stream of us playing Smash while we talk about some fucking movie.
I'm
No,
down.
but so Lucas, he did the right thing, obviously, and came around. But also, what's the name of the jock that he's looking up to the whole season? Jason, yeah.
Jason gets
That guy is like a classic 80s meathead fucking villain.
He wasn't a bad person though. Like Billy's worse than he was. Jason was like distraught and he was emotional about someone who he was close to dying.
He's still bad.
Well, he's not. His intentions weren't though.
Yeah.
What would happen if like the fucking drug dealer was found with your dead girlfriend who'd been like mutilated?
Yeah.
And it's in the middle of the 80s whenever
the point is that these characters aren't just black and white. There's a lot.
I was kind of upset they killed Jason off. I was kind of bummed about that because he could have gotten a good redemption arc. The city completely
it happened. It's unfortunate.
He could have seen what happened with Vecna and been the one to converse with the city.
That guy is not willing to change, I don't think.
I think when that guy is deep fucking ground split,
that guy is deep rooted in his beliefs and like his upbringing.
If you see the ground rip apart and hellfire come out,
if he saw that, he's only going to double down on his Christian-based background.
Yeah, but he might not blame fucking Lucas and everybody else. He might say that it is Satan, but it's not like.
No, he's seen people floating in the air like possessions. He saw Max in the air in front of him. He would think that's some sort of fucking seance or some shit, and that ritual and that the ground ripping in half would be part of their ritual. He would still blame them for what's going on because in his mind it's the devil and not some fucking sci-fi bullshit. I don't think this guy is capable of comprehending fucking other worlds and dimensions. Like, I think this guy is just too grounded in hellfire.
What if he becomes the next Vecna?
whatever. That does lead me to the theory that you sent me on TikTok about
Eddie being a vampire.
if Eddie's a vampire. I don't think I would. I don't know. The
He's just like
execution,
moving in the upside
the
down.
ex, the execution would have to be just right. I don't know.
They'd be like running through the upside down and being attacked by bats, and all of a sudden they stop and they go, it's like start surrounding this one person, and then it cuts, and he's just like, "Hey guys." I'd be down for that.
That'd
That'd be
be a
cool.
little
But
too ridiculous.
you gotta have a little bit of ridiculous shit.
Maybe.
It's not going to happen. They've killed Eddie off to have Eddie be the martyr for the satanic panic shit.
Yeah. Which a lot of younger folks, I obviously wasn't young enough. I wasn't a Gen Xer or anything like that. But a lot of the younger folks watching had no idea about satanic panic in the 80s, and they've had to do like further research of like, to contextualize some of the shit, because it's I don't know. It might
I
seem
mean,
a
the
little.
satanic panic lasted like into the mid 90s. It
I
felt
know,
like.
but like a lot of these kids weren't born until
Well, no, I'm just saying
2004.
like, it's ridiculous that hold was. I mean, that's one of the things that affected the West Memphis Three and like all that other shit. So
There's
it's
some
like,
stuff in there that you just kind of you forget that not everyone understands. Like in season 3, where Lucas is adamantly repping New Coke, that some people may have thought that was just a product placement, which it is a product placement. But the point is in the 80s, it's infamously Coca-Cola tried to replace their signature drink with a new version. And of course, people went fucking crazy and ape shit. And there's no context there in the show. So of course, a younger person who doesn't know anything about that is going to think, oh, it's just a weird product placement moment. No, people were up in arms. So much so that they were boycotting Coke until they brought it back. Like, it's the biggest fucking marketing failure of all time. So including that scene in there, I liked a lot, because my mom herself has told me about people arguing over New Coke back in her day. I always thought that was really fascinating. And I've always been interested in marketing and products and the history of products and stuff like that. Advertising. I've always been very interested in that. Too bad I've never used that to my advantage to make money. But so I study a lot of different corporations and companies and their histories, and of course, so I looked into Coca-Cola when I was younger, and amongst the horrible atrocities they've done overseas,
yeah, like
besides that stuff, there a lot of the products and stuff they've done over the years is interesting. Pepsi too. But reading about New Coke, I went down a rabbit hole in like high school. I was always interested in it. So when season 3 came out, they did a limited promotion with Stranger Things where they re-released New Coke after 30 plus years, online only. And I ordered it, even though I'd never watched the show. I was like, thank you, Stranger Things. And I finally got it. And then I tried it and was like really disappointed, because it tasted like Coke, but like sweeter, like Lucas says. And somewhere I might have fucking footage of that, of me trying it. And if so, I'll put it at the end of this as like a bonus clip or something. But
man, I want to try it.
it was cool as fuck. Yeah. I wish I could have had more than 2 cans and that they didn't expire. But it was cool as fuck that I got to try something from 1985 remade just for a limited time. It was interesting that people got up in arms so much over it, because I tasted it. I was like, yeah, it's different, but it's not like different enough to me where I need to go picket the fucking company. People love Coke, man.
People are soft. Fucking
People
boomers are
now
soft.
Coke means a lot to a lot of people. It's some of the most American shit. It's like pissing on the flag or something. I'm messing with Coke's formula. So yeah, anyway, that's my Coke spiel, I guess.
I heard that the Chinese have been trying to put pee in Coke for years.
Dude, don't say that shit. No middle school racist jokes on here, please. Shit. Jesus. Anyway. Um oh yeah. Like
Oh yeah.
oh yeah. What I like is that I was just saying, yeah, don't that would be too ridiculous for Eddie Munson to be a vampire. But in the same season, which is um for a second I was wondering, I was like, do I like this? Am I allowed to like this? Yes, this is fucking awesome. Is when Eddie wards off those bats with fucking playing Master of Puppets. Which is the like I love that scene. And I imagine watching if this would have came out when I was 15, my mind would have exploded. Like that is the
I
coolest shit
had
ever.
a big argument with a close friend of mine. Shout out to fuck you, Jeremy. Um, we argued about this because he was like, "They're gonna do Master of Puppets." I was like, "No fucking way!" Master of Puppets would have. It wasn't even out by then. We looked it up. It was out. It's like still, it would have been out for like 2 fucking weeks. And of course, Eddie Munson's on top of that shit, and he plays that shit. I
Of
thought they were gonna play a
course.
fucking Megadeth song.
It would have probably made more sense, but people know Metallica better than Megadeth. General populations. It worked. It worked. And yeah, it had only been out for 3 weeks, but 3 weeks is a long time for like if you're big into a certain band, like
Yeah,
or like when
it's easier accessible now, but like think about it. Back in the day, how was that advertised to you?
what do you mean billboards, commercials, like fucking magazines and shit.
Show me a Metallica ad.
I'm not saying on TV. I'm just saying
I don't know. I just did.
in magazines. You plus if you're into music a lot, you're going to be going to the record store every other day to see what's
What is
new.
that line that he has in there when they're picking up all? We need music. This is music.
Yeah, exactly. I
That's a good ass line.
yeah, 3 weeks after a big album, favorite album of mine has come out, I know it by heart already. I've been listening
Yeah,
to it
but
for
we
20
are living in the age of Spotify. It's a little bit easier.
No, I'm talking about fucking CDs, dude. It's not that fucking crazy. When
Oh
I
yeah, I forget that you brought fucking Chinese Democracy 3 weeks
oh
within
yeah, I
3 weeks
bought
of
Chinese
coming
Democracy like the day after it came out. I thought it was
out.
gonna be great. I was in denial for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I
fuck
did
Axl
buy
Rose.
Indestructible by Disturbed on CD, and I listened to
By
that.
Black Ice by ACDC.
Oh yeah, dude, I did get that album, dude. Ninth grade for me was nothing but hard rock
Yeah,
all the
I had like
time.
mine was the Gorillas and Akon.
Yeah, I did like
Akon
Akon
and
back.
Young
Well,
Jesus.
in ninth grade, I just started getting into rap and hip hop. Thankfully, no, not ninth grade, 10th grade, because that's when No Ceilings came out by Lil Wayne, and I was like,
God, that
we
fucking.
were listening to that in Hunter's his car while we were skipping church and shit. And
So I got a question for you
yeah,
before we sign off here. What's your song that protects you from Vecna?
oh man, you asked me that. I don't know. Um,
You don't have a single one?
uh, man, I mean, I probably the entire side B of Abbey Road, the medley with,
Mid. Uh,
okay.
Mine would be Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit. So I could beat, and that would beat the shit out of fucking Vecna.
Or if they played
All about
like,
the he said, she said bullshit.
I guess if they played No Love by Death Grips or something,
Yeah.
I'd probably pop out of it.
Boom,
Vecna would be
boom.
like, you know,
Everybody sucks.
I'd be
Just
stuck in
one of
his
those days. All
I'd be
about she said,
I'd be stuck
bullshit.
tied up to Vegna's fucking flesh tree or whatever it is, and I'd be like, "So have you heard of the underground experimental Sacramento trio hip hop band Death Grips?" And he would probably get annoyed and let me go.
It goes guilty. Be sick. Bow.
I like the stronger parts of the season was Nancy and Robin kind of teaming up and trying to figure out the Victor Creel shits. Yeah, maybe. I don't, that was one of the stronger aspects that really it was really, I don't know. It tied the room together like the rug from the
Having
Big
Robert
Lebowski.
Englund as Victor Creel was the shit.
Yeah, that just felt like classic mystery horror, like
Yeah,
Haunting of Hill House and like I don't know shit, Nightmare on Elm Street, which I guess that's the point because
yeah, that
Victor
is
Creel is played
like
by
that. It's
Freddy
literally
Krueger.
fucking Freddy Krueger at that point. Like,
I don't know. It's just every single aspect of this was incredibly entertaining and more entertaining than most shit that I've seen this year. Like 11 dealing with that bitch at the roller rink
oh man, the hit heard
while
around the world, dude.
while Will while Will skates alone.
On his birthday.
No, it's not his birthday.
That is his birthday.
They fixed it.
How'd they fix it?
They went in and dubbed over the parts in season 2 where she talks about his birthday. They like George
That's not
Lucas.
fucking fair.
They George Lucas did.
That's not fair at all.
But it was just a mistake.
Fuck that. You live with your mistakes, Duffer Brothers.
They fucked it up twice. I'm like, one they say his birthday's in like August, and then they say it's in March, and now I think the redub says like it's in May or something.
Just really trying to avoid this fucking birthday, dude.
No, maybe in season 5 he'll have his little birthday.
What if he's just hitting different timelines every time they go to the upside down?
Little twink boy. That's interesting. No, that's stupid actually. I don't know. And I don't know. I'm all over the place with this podcast. It's kind of hard when it's fucking like 10 plus hours. It's not just one movie, it's like 10 plus hours of content. I hate using that word, but whatever. 11, I like her a lot. She's come a long way because she used to barely even talk, and now she is very vocal, especially when standing up for her friends. I love Argyle. He's like the Jason Mewes of the universe, and that's the funniest bit to me. The funniest bit out of the whole season is the concept of, I like when shows have come so far and escalated so hard, but it makes sense where they are within this point. So in season 4, we have a scene where teenagers are burying a dead body in the fucking desert.
Yeah.
And it's so that when you really stand back and look at that, that's so fucking funny to me. And the fact that Argyle is he's going along with this is even more insane.
Especially because he just
met these like people, and he's like, okay, fuck, we have to at least make him a headstone out of a pizza box. That's the funniest shit to me. Perpetually stoned dildo fucking motherfucker. So funny. Like that kills me. Like these guys just buried a dead body, and it doesn't really get addressed after that episode. It's like, well, fuck them. And
at least it's a marked grave. They can go back to it.
Yeah. But can't be driving around with a dead body. It makes sense. The and the sequence before that, where they're escaping the house and it's getting
fucking
shot up.
Insane. John Wick style.
It looks like a John Wick fucking born ultimatum, like shaky cam, crazy ass.
Dude, that shit's fucking gnarly.
And it's well directed action. It's not a bunch of quick cuts, which is so tiring these days. It's actually like, let's follow these people as they run through the house and shit's getting blasted up. That felt real as fuck. A lot of good filmmaking in this season, especially with the long takes and not having to do the reaction shot, back shot, just like, I'm so tired of like a lot of these assembly line streaming shows just getting put out without very little effort when it comes to technicality or technical filmmaking side of things. And then this one, it's like, no, we're still going to keep trying our best to make everything visually interesting in different ways, the best we can. And they really succeeded. And yeah, I am very shocked and pleased by how interesting and entertaining this was. And I love it, genuinely. So yeah.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah. I just wish we didn't have to wait fucking 3 hours or 3 years for the next one.
Yeah, it's gonna have a time jump though, so it's gonna be appropriate.
I know, but like, I wish they had already been writing this while working on the fourth season or something. I
They've
don't know.
most likely been writing it.
No, they said their writing sessions start in August. So it'll be 3 years probably.
Oh. Oh.
I don't know. Also, I hope that Wolfhard gets his heart back in the show because it feels like he's trying to distance himself and he shouldn't do that just yet. I get wanting to move on to projects, but like, dog, people love you for this fucking show, so show some respect. 11 or Millie Bobby Brown is all in, and that's what I like is that she gives her all in every episode. And I've watched behind the scenes stuff with her, and she seems like a very nice person. And
She gets a lot of shit, man. She gets a lot. I see a lot of people give her a lot of shit.
no, she seems very nice. And
That's what I'm saying. She
when
seems fine.
she's hyping up the little girl that plays the younger version of her.
Yeah, that's super
Oh
sweet.
yeah, I love that. That does bring me to the point.
I've had to see like fucking Hopper, like David Harbour, have to like defend Millie and Finn and the younger kids from fucking weirdo reporters.
Loser ass fucking people. These are kids.
How do you feel about this stripper name type thing? And like Finn's like, I don't know what to say. And Harper's just like, don't pay him any fucking attention.
Yeah, dude.
Like Joe Keery is the same. He's like, just stop asking fucking questions like that.
Yeah.
It's cool if they've got like a protection from the fucking weirdos in Hollywood.
Yeah. That's good because back in the 80s, they didn't have that shit as much.
No.
And the only thing is that I feel bad for her, Millie Bobby Brown, because like I said in the chat, that video of her has been trending again where she sings that part of Imagine with all the celebrities, and it's been stuck in my head for a week, and it's really embarrassing. And I feel bad for her because she's a teenager.
She was young when she did that.
Yeah,
so
she's like 15 years old trying
she's
to
not
sing
Gal
on camera.
Gadot.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing, but like I can't stop thinking about it because of how it gets stuck in your head so bad. It's so lame. People at home, look up Millie Bobby Brown singing Imagine, and she goes, ooh. It's so lame. Feel bad. I'm glad my teenage years were not broadcast to millions of people online. That's for sure.
There'd be a lot of jerking off.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying that aspect. It's not like we're seeing Finn Wolfhard jerk his dick. Okay. I'm just saying, like, I'm glad there's people kind of protecting them. I hope once season 5 is out that some of these characters can go on to new projects. I know Millie's good. She's got Godzilla and she's got that Sherlock Holmes shit.
I'm curious to know what Gaten Matarazzo is.
That's what I was about to say. I'm worried about that guy because he feels like he could be pigeonholed into the dorky kid.
He's like the most talented person on that cast.
We went this whole cast not talking about this guy, even though he's literally my favorite character, and that astounds me. I don't know why I haven't even talked about him. Love this guy.
Yeah, Dustin
the shit.
Has
a heart of gold, and he ties all of the friends together, and he is the MVP, and he's figured everything out, and his love for D&D has saved them time and time again, and I love this character so much, and I can't believe I didn't talk about him at all.
Gatton, the actor, though, has been a Broadway actor since he was like fucking 7 years old.
That's crazy.
He was have you ever seen Les Mis?
No.
In the like one of the Broadway showings of that, he was the kid from Les Mis, like 10, 12 years ago almost.
Yeah.
The kid's fucking talented as shit, an incredible singer. And then he also brings like the most charm. I'd say like him and Steve are the two most charming characters on the show by far.
Yeah.
Like Dustin and Steve. And like, God, I think one of the big things that like solidified him for me is the never ending story bit.
Yeah.
That is one of the funniest bits in all of TV for me. Shout out to him. We had a thing on Facebook because this is right when the quarantine, like we were quarantined for the fucking pandemic a few years ago. We called it Quarantine Beer Chugs. And I chugged a beer while listening to your rendition of that, Dustin. So, and I got a lot of likes.
That's pretty
So
funny.
it's my tie to Gat Mazerazzo.
There you go. Tribute. Yeah, no, I watched the behind the scenes of him in his
Dressing room.
trailer, yeah, on set, and he was playing the Minish Cap, Legend of Zelda Minish Cap on the Game Boy Advance because he had never played it before because Game Boy Advance was before his time, which made me feel old as fuck. But
well, also sense. His bathroom door wouldn't shut too. Like that was fun. I've seen that interview.
Yeah.
It's cute.
And I was like, holy shit. He seems just like his character. He seems like a nice guy. But you know, anyway.
Turn around.
Yeah.
Look at what you see.
Watch you get us. You're gonna get us a copyright strike. No, I'm just kidding. Also, it's funny, like watching season 1, I was like, you know, this Hopper guy, the actor, I didn't know his name at that point, but David Harbour, I was like, he could have replaced Indiana Jones as like a replacement.
Fuck, I would love that.
And Parker was like, oh my God, that's the best thing I've heard. And I was like, yeah. I was like, he's got the charm and the wit, and like he's similar to young Harrison Ford in that way.
He's a scruffy looking nerd.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, quit making 80-year-old Harrison Ford do this shit. Just fucking pass the torch. Let David Harbour do it for a couple of movies. I think that'd be badass.
Yes. We'll call him Montana Davis.
Yeah, we'll make our own. Yeah. We'll pitch it to him.
I'll be down for that.
Anyway, I don't have much else to say, I guess.
Pitch your new movie, bitch.
Oh, yeah. This episode of The Harbor is brought to you by the film adaptation, Patrician's Guide to Kino. If you want to see us turn the fucking Kino shtick into a film, it's up on the Memorial now. Go check it out. Hopefully, if you've listened to this podcast, then you like us enough to check it out or already know Moonman, et cetera, et cetera. Go check that out. Yeah. Go watch Stranger Things. If you watch this cast and you haven't watched Stranger Things season 4, that might be a little weird. But hey, thanks for listening. We'll be back with more summer hits next week.
My Cash App is $Boston Flasher. Pay me for my fucking time.
Yeah, someone's got to pay cashier, and it's not going to be me. Thanks for listening, guys. I wasn't recording this whole time. No, I'm just kidding.